Hello, and thank you very much for coming back to see another comic book haul. Welcome to the channel if this is your first time here. We hope you enjoy the video and consider liking and subscribing to us. I'm Armando from Not of This Realm. I can't wait to talk with you about the books I picked up for the week of September 18th, 2024, especially the one I have at my number one spot. Now let's get started. At fourth place is Spirits of Vengeance number 1. Ghost Rider is one of my favorite superheroes. He looks awesome, and I think the supernatural element makes him a very unique and interesting character with a lot of potential. Unfortunately, I think he and Vengeance are underutilized in Spirits of Vengeance number 1. The tone of the story is a little campy for my taste. It reminded me of straight-to-video slasher movies that were just fun to watch, which is a perfectly fine direction for writer Sabir Pirzada to take. It's just not what I was expecting from this series. I thought the art by Sean Hill, Craig Young, Jay Kristen, and Andrew Dahlhaus suits the tone of the book very well, with the exception of a few inconsistencies. By that I mean there would be a beautiful splash page, but then the following art would lack the same detail. It's not what I was hoping for, so I'm going to pass on keeping up with this title. But if you love Ghost Rider and like campy fun B-movies from the 80s and 90s, then you'll probably like this one. In third place I have Spider-Man Black Suit and Blood number 2. I like these anthology books. I think that more often than not, they give us some worthwhile short stories, new insights, and different points of view. Writer Amanda Schultz and artists Marcelo Ferreira, Robert Poggi, and Andres Mosa give us a very stylish story where Spidey has an altercation with Morbius in The Edge of Rage. We get to see what the symbiote thinks of Peter as it analyzes his thoughts and feelings during this conflict, while at the same time it pushes Peter to the very edge. I think the story and artwork are phenomenal here, and the black, white, and red color palette is used to great effect. Burgers, Fries, and Blood by Dan Jurgens, Brett Breeding, and Chris Sotomayor feels like a nice throwback to comic books from the 70s and 80s. The story, dialogue, and art style remind me of books from that era. My favorite story by far in this collection is Shock and Awe by Greg Weisman and Javi Fernandez. I like how it depicts Peter's experience while the symbiote is in control. It makes me think of the movie Get Out. I also really like the art by Fernandez. It's a perfect fit for this kind of story. And the best part is that since this is an anthology book, it doesn't matter that this is issue 2. You can pick it up and read it without having to read issue 1. Second place goes to Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Mutant Nation number 1. We actually get a 2-for-1 deal with this issue. There's a short Casey Jones story at the end that I'll talk about later. This book picks up after the Armageddon game, and Tom Waltz does a stellar job of updating us on where Raphael is at this point. It's text-heavy, but it works because we are getting Raph's observations and thoughts, which I think is very interesting. I enjoy how Waltz uses action to parallel Raphael's thought process to keep it interesting with the help of Vincenzo Federici and Rhonda Pattison. They both do a great job illustrating not just the action, but the quieter moments as well. I think Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Mutant Nation number 1 is an excellent start to a promising story. After that, there's an interesting street-level crime story starring Casey Jones by Eric Burnham with art by Mateus Santoluco and Marco Lesko. It's got some great fight scenes and leaves off on an interesting note. Definitely check this one out if you can. And my favorite book this week is The Moon is Following Us number 1. Now this book truly takes readers somewhere not of this realm. I can go on about how good this is, but I'll try to keep it as brief as possible. From the writing to the art, it's both imaginative and immersive. I really want to talk about the artwork first. Co-creator and legendary comic book artist Riley Rossimo does an outstanding job creating a world we can really get lost in. From the settings to the character designs, Rossimo makes it feel like a surreal mix of fantasy, sci-fi, and steampunk. It reminds me a lot of movies like Labyrinth and The Dark Crystal. Of course, he executes all of this superbly with excellent shots and page layouts. But this dreamlike atmosphere is also due to the astounding colors by Mike Spicer. The story by Daniel Warren Johnson is as equally fantastic as the artwork. There's a lot of great world building done here, and at the same time Johnson establishes the stakes, urgency, and opposition for the central characters. They're without a doubt my favorite part of this story. Their personalities are just as distinct as their appearance, and I was easily able to sympathize with them. The Moon is Following Us number 1 is an exciting, fun, and great first issue, and an excellent start for this new series. Be sure to pick this one up if you can, and ask your local comic book shop to add this to your pull list. And that was my comic book haul for this week. Did you agree or disagree with how I ranked them? Which books did you pick up? Let us know in the comments. And don't forget to hit the like button if you enjoyed the video. If you're new to the channel and interested in comic books, movies, and action figures that are related to the realms of superheroes, sci-fi, horror, and fantasy, then please consider subscribing to us. I'm Oddmondo from Not of This Realm. This video was written by me and edited by the lovely Astra Vixen. Thank you very much for watching, and remember to support your local comic book shops. Be safe and take care.